Welcome to the Daily Dad Podcast, where we provide one lesson every day to help you with your most important job, being a dad. These are lessons inspired by ancient philosophy, by practical wisdom, and insights from dads all over the world. Thank you for listening, and we hope this helps.
The struggle with struggle. We all know that what we went through in this life is what made us who we are. The breakups, the failures, the losses, and the mistakes. Some of us grew up poor. Others grew up rich with absent parents. Others grew up around addiction or dysfunction. We didn't like any of this, but we know it was formative. There is no growth without struggle. We know this. In Malcolm Gladwell's David and Goliath, he talks to several highly successful men and women, people like Brian Grazer, Gary Cohn, David Boies, who suffered from dyslexia as children. Their stories are all the same, Gladwell writes. They don't think they succeeded in spite of their disability. They think they succeeded because of it. Knowing how formative this struggle was in their lives, knowing that they believed it helped them develop skills and perspective they would have not had otherwise, and how responsible that was for their success, Gladwell then asked a critical question. Would you want your kids to go through it too, so they could reap the same benefits? Grazer shuddered at the thought, Gladwell recounts. Gary Cohn was horrified. David Boies has two boys who are both dyslexic, and watching them grow up in an environment where reading early and well counted for everything nearly broke his heart. It's perfectly logical and illogical at the same time. No parent would ever wish pain or struggle on their children, ever. Not 1 ounce of preventable suffering. And yet we know that suffering in life is inevitable and in many cases beneficial. We would die for them. We want nothing bad to ever happen to them. But if someone had done that for us, if someone had removed every bit of adversity from our young lives, we never would have experienced what we experienced, and our lives would be so different that our kids would not exist. Each of us will have to come to terms with this paradox in our own way, but we will fail as parents if we don't figure out our own way through it. What struggle do we save them from? What struggle do we encourage them to wrestle with? What formative experiences do we accept? And which ones do we fight to prevent? Only you know. Only you can decide. We do talk about resilience in our Stoic Parenting Challenge, which you might like. You can check that out at dailystoic.com/parent. But it's tricky. You want your kids to be tough, and you know life is tough, and yet you want their life to be as good and nice as possible. So I think there's some good stuff in there. If you want to check it out, go to dailystoic.com/parent.